For 8 years, I have been living and traveling on my 37-foot sailboat Karl. Most of my time I spend in remote areas, and nature is my endless playground. But although I try to live a fairly minimalistic lifestyle, there is one thing that I highly depend on, especially for my work as a vlogger: power. Charging all my cameras to capture my beautiful surroundings, and using my computer to edit the videos, and keeping my phone powered to feed social media. All of this requires a reliable source of energy. Thanks to Xantrex and Dakota Lithium, I am now able to run my floating office worry-free and 100% on renewable energy. Join me for the following video series in which I explain the setup of my system aboard Karl, and where I run you through the installation of my new lithium batteries, inverters, battery monitor, and solar panels. You ready? Let's go! Today is a very, very, very exciting day because I'm gonna upgrade my battery bank to lithium! I'm super stoked. I can't wait because my battery situation here on Karl has been a disaster. I have some secondhand AGM batteries in here, 2 times 150 amp hours, but they're pretty much done. The thing I can really do is charge my phone and run the fridge during the day off the solar, and then half of the night I switch the fridge off. Can't run the inverter, so I can't charge my computer, which is why episodes have been coming a little scattered throughout the past, which I hope is gonna change in the future. It's been quite the nightmare power-wise here on Karl. So I cannot wait to upgrade to 3 times 100 amp hours lithium provided by Dakota Lithium. Thanks so much for the partnership. Yeah, and I'm also gonna install a Kisai, I'm not sure how you pronounce this, Kisai Technologies DC-DC 30 amp charger, which one of my kind followers has sent me over to Panama. Thanks for that. And also, this is like Christmas, huh? I'm gonna install a Xantrex Link Pro battery monitor. Thanks for that, Xantrex. I'm taking out everything that has been in here before, and I'm completely redoing it. This is a big project. Basically, it's a 3-step project. It starts with the batteries and the DC-DC charger and the monitor, and then I will also add some new solar panels from Xantrex, and I will also add 2 new inverters from Xantrex. One is going to be a 110 and the other one's going to be a 220. So I can use both my 220 power tools and my 110 power tools. So it's going to be incredible. Are you excited? I'm super excited. Can you tell I'm super excited? I'm over the top excited. This is going to be such a game changer. So when I started this empowerment project, the first thing I did is I sat down and I made a list of all the things that consume energy on Karl. You know, you just write down whatever the consumer is, how many amps per hour it's consuming, and then how many hours you think you're using it throughout the day. And then I also split the hours during the day and during the night. Because during the day you have solar, so power is coming in, but during the night you're just taking out battery power without adding anything to it. I decided to go for 3 times 100 amp hours just to have a little bit of an extra in case I want to use a power tool. And also, I mean, this is like worst case scenario, like really having everything on, like charging all my stuff and using the computer for like 6 to 8 hours a day. So this is obviously like super crazy. I usually will never use 200 amp hours in 24 hours. I decided to have 3 separate batteries rather than one big battery because it's better if one of them breaks and you at least still have 2 running, because from what I read, it's sometimes the battery management system inside the batteries that can go, and then if you just have one, then you're left with 0 power. Now if you have 3 times 100, then one goes, you still have 200 left. So that to me seems a little safer. Well, and then I sat down and looked at all the new goodies that I've got and was like, okay, so how are we going to connect all of this? And I made a little diagram with all the power that goes in, with all the battery banks and with the engine and whatnot, and all the connections towards like the consumers. And then I sent it off to some pros to have it checked, because I'm obviously not a professional and I wanted to make sure that I don't blow up all my new goodies or myself. And I sent it off to Xantrex, and also had a really good chat with Ryan from Ryan and Sophie Sailing, who is partially owner of Dakota Lithium. And I also had a really great forth and back conversation with a guy called Ricardo from Kisai, who had a lot of knowledge and was one of these people who you ask a question and he actually over answered it instead of under answering it. So I love when that happens. He sent me a lot of information, like background information, and it was really helpful for me to understand a couple of things better. So thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate a customer support like that. Good morning! It's another day in paradise and I'm ready to connect my batteries. I'm not going to do any in-depth lithium versus AGM or whatever kind of talk on this video. There's other people who've done a great job doing that. Now this morning, all that's left to do really is to connect the batteries and to connect everything to the controller. Yesterday I basically set everything up, I rewired everything, and I'm just gonna run you through my setup real quick, and then it's time to power up. Starter battery is connected to the engine switch, yes. Starter battery is connected to the DC-DC charger with a 50 amp fuse, yes. Now these two are the solar input wires. This is the positive and this is the negative. Right now these two will have a fuse of 30 amps because I'm running my 2 times 120 old solar panels off it. This is the positive from the solar input, this is the negative of the solar input, and this is then the charging wire that goes into my battery bank. And this is the negative wire that goes into my battery bank. So that goes into a fuse here that will also be 50 amp. What goes off here is my main panel. The fuses for the main panel are up on the main panel. This is the negative from my main panel. Everything is going to the batteries here. Basically what comes through here is the negative of all my consumers from my main panel that goes to the shunt, And then this is the charging wire, the negative of the DC-DC charger that also goes to the shunt. These are all my negative battery cables. Here we have the positive of the charging wire. These are all the positive wires for the battery connections. And then these two thingies that you see here, they're fuse holders for a 250 amp fuse. And later my two Xantrex inverters will be connected here, positive and negative. And then the negative of the inverters will be connected also here to the shunts. And then in this, from the shunt, there will be the connection to the battery monitor. Looks all right. So what I read is that when you connect more than two batteries in parallel, all the connections should have the same length so that no battery will be drawn more or less than the other one. So I decided to have all positive and all negative cables the same length, and they're all going to connect to one point and then go to the terminals of the batteries. One thing that's really important when you connect lithium batteries in parallel is that they have the exact same voltage. So I'm going to check if that's the case, because if it's not, the current runs so fast that when you connect them and they actually have a different level, that you might set something on fire. That's all looking good. That's nice news. So I wouldn't have any power here anyways to charge them. And by the way, the batteries also come with their own little AC DC charger unit, like a 10 amp one. So in case they do have different voltage levels and you do have a power source close by, you can charge them up with that. That's pretty nifty too. I think I've got everything ready so far. These are the fuses for the solar. This is the fuse for the house bank. And then these are the little connection stubbies for the battery cables. I'm gonna give Maria a call now. Just in case something happens and I get zapped, that somebody knows what's going on. Fingers crossed. No turning back now.
If you end up dying, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to call?
If I do end up dying, then, well, or getting zapped or something, and you see me on the floor, like, moving around, then give Paul a call and tell him to dinghy over here and send some help, maybe.
Okay, I'll give him a call.
Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Okay. It's only 12 volts.
I know, I don't think anything is gonna happen. So all the positive leads are connected now. Okay, number one, going in.
Oh. I mean, not that I would probably know what's going on since I don't see your head and then.
Okay, number two's going. Maybe these don't spark so much.
Okay.
Still all good, nothing burning yet. Okay, they're all connected. All right, I'm gonna put on a light to see if things are working, because LED lights are cheap, so in case something blows up, it's not too bad. Whoa, look at that power. Whoa, cap full little batteries. That worked out. Now I have to connect the DC-DC charger. And I'm going to put in the fuse to connect the batteries to the DC-DC charger. And then I'm going to put in the fuses to the solar. There's also a temperature sensor that I'm installing for the batteries. Now I have to switch on the charger and set it to lithium. 30.4 is the voltage of the batteries, and we're having like 5.5 amps from the solar coming in. And then here you can see 14.34 is the voltage of the solar panels. That's 12.6 is the starter battery. Wow, this was a project and a half. I think we're going to postpone the installation of the Xantrex battery monitor. But more about that next time.